I have two builds on this two-part video. First one is a 472 Super Cub, which I'll show you a little bit of assembly work, show you the issues we run into, and on the second part, show you in Glamis what it does. Second bike is a 4mm stock cylinder. It has come back in after a year, maybe two, with some problems. We're going to crack that open and you'll love what you see there. And we'll take it out to Glamis. Both videos have disasters in them, so I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll put the second one up in a few days as soon as I'm done editing. Getting ready to put a 472 together. It's a Super Cub, 4mm long rod, 58 stroke on a 115 rod. Stock is 54 on a 110 rod. The stroke is achieved by offsetting the pin here. The pin is offset millimeters, 4 millimeters out to make the stroke 58. The rod is longer, big end to small end here, 5 millimeters to make 115. This one's fortified with beefier bearings. The TZ bearing here, which is very popular for all you hot rod drag racers. Not needed, but you know, good insurance. This is the max load bearing on this side. This has got more ball bearings than the standard bearing. Not that you can see any difference, but this transmission is a Pro Mod, which takes every other dog ear and machines it off. You can see it in there, the machine, the shiny part. So we do this for every gear so that it's easier and there's a bigger window time to disengage and engage the next gear. It really helps as you start making power. The Banshee cases are some of the easiest cases to put together because they're clamshell design, top and bottom. It just sets right down on there. Simple little 10 millimeter bolts bolt the top and bottom for the transmission, and then across the bottom there's 12 millimeter bolts. Goes together very easy. One of the easiest motors to split and work on because everything lays in the lower case. This Banshee has come in with a seized top end. It's one I did about a year ago. I think that it's jetted lean. We are going to tear it down,
figure out what's wrong with it. We're gonna cut a pro mod for it because he said the transmission's hanging up. It is stock cylinder, drag port with 39s. These are knockoffs, and we're gonna get some genuine Kians on there because these always present a problem where they're never jetted right. They'll always be different, and I think it is just the quality control of the internals. Sometimes you have to run bigger jets, sometimes you have to run smaller jets. They're a pain in the butt, and if you're going to build a nice bike like this, you want genuine product on it. Those are China cylinders, so we might even find out something might be wrong with them, although they went in perfect because I did the build and I put them on there because the other ones were completely trashed. So we went with the aftermarket replacement style CPI pipes. We're gonna tear into this one and see what's wrong with it. Then we're gonna take it out to Glamis and upload it to YouTube. Well, it was worse than we thought. A catastrophic event happened. So these poor China cylinders didn't fare too well. We had an ear break off. Now this happens. I've seen it in OEM cylinders also. I believe that build was a year or two old at this time, but you always have to be careful on how small the bridge is and the gap here, and how far you drop these, because that makes it very thin, not much metal holding that lower ear on. It looks thick from here, but it's really not. Well, we're gonna figure out what we want to do with this one, and we'll get it back together. There's a little remnants of the iron that got scattered all over. We'll go back to the drawing board and see what kind of configuration we're gonna build up from here. We are gonna cut a pro mod for the transmission because it was binding under shifting because of the power it was putting out. So back to the drawing board for this one. We'll make it bigger, better, and faster. Quick update for these matching blue Banshees. This 472, which was having a couple problems on its maiden voyage. I'll tell you, one of them was the owner didn't have much stuff holding this together when he went and put on the pipes and stuff. But we have rectified that with new pipe clamps, front and rear. It seems to ride fine here, so I am taking it out to the dunes with that one over there because that one had an issue which fell apart that you saw. Tried to give him a Cub upgrade for free, but he didn't want it. He wanted to stick with those stock cylinders. He's got faith, and so do I. This one, we did take the top end off of it because it wasn't making the compression that my math said it should have been making. And I found out that the squish was abnormally large, even though it seemed to be cut correctly. So I went back to the drawing table, redid some math, and I am getting some new domes cut for it so we can make the compression where we want it on race gas to get some power out of this guy. It seems to run well right now, but we'll get this buttoned up. That motor over there is right here. We're gonna throw some fresh paint on it, and he's all new piston, and I even replaced the crank because when that iron let loose, it just seemed like it fragged the bearings. So all new basically from top to bottom. And then we got this gem in, and I love this. The RZ, one of my all-time favorite bikes as a kid in high school. The old two-stroke, and you know what I'm talking about, people. It's the Banshee motor. Well, I should say the Banshee motor was birthed from this power valve 350 twin two-stroke. We are going to tear this guy down and do a full rebuild because it has never been apart. Bottom end, we don't think, because it was bought in the very early 90s, so it was very young. It is sat outside, it's bleached, the tank had holes in it, the seat was trashed. A lot of these clamps, the ones that were under the tank are fine, but there are some that were out in the sun and they are just completely rotted. But we're going to show you more of that because that is going to be a good build.